I'm going to use this video to explain how you can lower your cost to acquire new customers without changing any of your marketing. So before I explain how we can lower this number, let's talk about what cost to acquire a customer actually is. Cost to acquire a customer is the amount of money it takes for us to get one new customer. I would say it's probably the most important marketing metric and one of the most important business metrics that there are. So in terms of growing your business, the number of new customers that you're going to get from any marketing campaign it's going to be your total marketing budget divided by the cost to acquire a customer. So let's say you have $1,000 to spend on ads and your cost to acquire a customer is $5, which is pretty low. Then you're going to have 1,000 divided by 5. I think that's 200 new customers. So by understanding this number, the customer acquisition cost, we can evaluate the different marketing channels and campaigns and even individual ads that we're doing in order to prioritize the best ones. So if you want to lower this number so that you can get more customers for the same marketing budget, the easiest way to do that is actually to first have a better understanding of this number for all of your individual marketing channels. So let's say you're a business that's running Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, and then you have your organic social media. And then let's just say that you're one of those companies that uses airplanes with the banners. So Sky Advertising. Which, by the way, what a horrible way to advertise. How many impressions do you think you get pulling a banner with one string of text? I bet that's the most expensive way to advertise ever. And so for each of these different channels, what we need to do now is calculate the customer acquisition cost. So let's say for Facebook ads, we're going to spend $200 and we get let's say we get 10 customers. So our acquisition cost for this would be $200 divided by 10 customers, which is $20 customer acquisition cost, okay? And then, so we're gonna do the same thing for all the other platforms. I'll just make up some arbitrary numbers here. Let's say we spent $200 here and got 8 customers, so that's 25 bucks per new customer. And then organic social media, you probably don't pay for this directly, but what you should do is estimate the amount of time you're spending to make this and multiply that by your hourly rate. Let's just say you're spending $200 when you do the math of how much time you're spending and what your time is worth. And then let's say you get 5 customers, which usually the return on this is going to be much higher, but I'm just arbitrarily for this video putting in random numbers here. So 200 divided by 5 is going to be $40. And then Sky Advertising, let's say we spent $30,000 because I can't imagine it being any less than that. 30,000, and let's say we get 2 customers, which seems realistic for a banner flying across the sky. So that would be a $15,000 customer acquisition cost. Okay, and so your overall customer acquisition cost is going to be an average of all of these. So you would just sum up the total amount of money you spent, which here it'd be $30,600 divided by the total number of new customers. And so that's an important metric overall for your business, but specifically in this video, we're trying to lower that number. And so how we would do that is we would just have each channel listed out, and we're going to go ahead and delete everything except for the lowest customer acquisition cost channel. Okay. And so this is actually going to really simplify your business because we're gonna no longer have to run LinkedIn ads. In this case, we actually could get rid of organic social media, although that's never a good idea nowadays because the potential for the reach that comes from social media it's really high. And so even now, if if your customer acquisition cost is too high for social media, I would never recommend stopping that. But Sky advertising, we can get rid of that. Which, by the way, if you're running Sky advertising, hire me and I will save your business a lot of money just by getting rid of it for you. But for the case of this video, we're going to delete all of these other customer acquisition channels and just be left with Facebook. So now our customer acquisition cost went from a much higher number down to $20 per customer. Okay, so now we can actually even take this further by looking through all of our different Facebook ads and splitting them into each individual campaign or ad. And so this is something that I've done for businesses, but basically if you export all of your data from Facebook, you can see which leads came from which particular ad, and you can trace that back to your point of sale system or your customer relationship manager by matching their emails. And so you're actually able to see which ads, ad one, you're actually able to see which individual ad led to that customer. By ad one, we spent $50. So $50 spend divided by, we got 10 customers. So let's say we got 7 customers here. And then ad two, we also spent $50. And then for this video, we only got 2 customers. 50 divided by 0. So our customer acquisition costs for each of these ads, for this one, $7.14 is our customer acquisition cost. And then for the second ad, it's $25. $25 customer acquisition cost. And then for these, we haven't even gotten a customer, so we're not actually sure what the cost to acquire a customer is. But if you'll notice, we've already spent more than what our lowest customer acquisition cost is here. So we can probably say that this customer acquisition cost for ad 3 is not going to be less than $7. So even though we aren't able to actually calculate that number because there's been no customers acquired, we can say that it's probably going to be higher than $7.14. And at this point, what we can do is similar to the way we deleted our other channels, we can now delete these other 3 ads. Okay, and so now our customer acquisition costs went from a much higher number with the Skyplane and all of the other channels, bringing the average way up. And now our cost to acquire new customers is only $7.14, which is a huge reduction. Okay, so now at this point, you could keep all of the other channels and ads turned off, and then you could take all of that money and put that into this specific ad here. Now, one thing you want to be careful of with Facebook ads, I think if you turn up the spend, it messes with the performance. So make sure you do some more reading before cranking up spend on a particular Facebook ad. But that's not my area of expertise, but just something to watch out for. And so now, if you've done this for your business, you've taken the same marketing budget you have, the same marketing campaigns, you didn't have to add anything, and you've drastically lowered your cost to acquire a new customer, which has drastically increased the number of new customers you're going to get for the same marketing budget, which for most businesses, getting new customers is good for your business. If it's bad, then you're going to need to watch some different videos. But realistically, if you're a business owner, how are you going to do this, right? How do you know? How are you able to get the numbers you need in order to calculate your customer acquisition cost for each channel? And then even more granular than that for each individual Facebook ad, LinkedIn ad, YouTube ad. Simplistically, all you really need is the total amount of spend and the total amount of customers that you have gotten from that particular channel or ad. Now, getting the spend is usually pretty easy, but figuring out which of your leads and customers came from that particular channel is usually a bit more difficult. Now, I know for Facebook, what you can do is export a list of leads that has all of the individual campaigns and ads in them that those particular leads came from. And then other platforms also have similar features where you can export each lead that you've gotten from that platform along with the particular ad and day that those leads came in. But also for these platforms, even though they're leads, meaning that they sent their contact info to your business, we don't actually know whether or not they became a customer. And so this is where it's important to have either a point of sale system like Square that's collecting information from rewards programs, or if you're a different type of business, you might have a customer relationship manager like HubSpot or Go High Level. And this is where we can take the data from those platforms, take the emails of your customers and link them back to the data in the ad platform. And so that sounds simple, but it can also be a huge pain. And so if you're trying to think, how would I apply this in my business with the specific tools that I have, feel free to list all of them out in the comments if you're comfortable with that. And I can actually help you get specific instructions on how to get all of this data out of those platforms. And then on top of that, a lot of businesses that I work with get tired of doing this process manually because it takes a lot of time to manually download everything and put it all in a spreadsheet and calculate this by hand. And so what my business does is they go in and create automated processes that do all of this automatically. And so if you're interested in that, I have a Calendly link in the description, and you're welcome to schedule a free call where I can give you more detailed info on how to get this data yourself. And we can also explore whether or not building an automated process to do this for your business would be a good investment.